First thing I actually noticed is awesome visibility, and just how the cockpit is set out is just so nice. Does it have a gun? It has a trigger.
It does not.
Not yet. Alright, Chuck. So what is this helicopter?
All right, so this helicopter is an Enstrom 480B.
So there's a lot of helicopters out there.
Yep.
What's the benefit of this helicopter over some other helicopters?
That's a great question. What makes Enstroms unique is a couple of key features, especially for this category of helicopter and this light piston, light turbine, is we have a fully articulated rotor head. When the blades are rotating, there's forces coming from underneath as well as in front, right?
Yep.
And so an articulated rotor head will actually work with those forces to give you a smoother ride. You can also see it's directly connected to the mast versus like a semi-rigid or a rigid type, where a lot of the times they are a teetering rotor head and they're attached different. This is a full mast attached right to the transmission, which gives it a lot of stability and robustness to it.
So you were just talking about the rotor head, and it does look really clean. So I also saw a picture over there of it lifting water, and you were talking about farming and agriculture. So what's like a payload for this helicopter since it's a turbine?
So the useful load on it is just under 1,200 pounds. It burns about 27 gallons an hour. And so we have 90 gallons of fuel, which gives you almost 3.5 hours with some reserve. It's got a really good leg on it as well.
How long's the range?
In aviation, you know, we have to measure things in time, right?
Yeah.
Versus distance because of wind factors and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So we estimate about 3.5 hours. We advertise no wind conditions around 113 knots.
That's really
so I mean, a good tailwind, obviously you're going to go faster, right? We flew from Menominee, Michigan down to Texas to get an autopilot installed. I saw speeds in headwinds of 40 miles an hour. We had 62 knots of ground speed, right? I also saw tailwinds of 30, 35. We were bumping 125, 130 knots. You get quite a range depending upon wind.
So how about let's talk a bit more price and a bit more of the juicy stuff for the audience.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
This will be under $2 million.
Yeah.
Right around 1.8 to 1.9, depending upon your options. We are doing some more exclusive paint jobs. We will have a new electric air conditioner available on this before the first of the year. Autopilot certification is happening with our partner Genesis. Those will be add-ons, right?
So everyone actually compares like hourly rate from 100 hours a year to 500 hours a year. What's the hourly rate on this?
We advertise the turbine budget about $500 an hour, and that'll take care of all your maintenance, including the engine. That does not count fuel. Fuel is a big variable. Insurance, all those types of operating costs that you have to do for your local environment would be in addition to that. But we say budget around $500 an hour.
So I'm looking in this cockpit right now. It looks really awesome up there. We'll get to that in a second. But these seats, are these leather?
They are leather. This is a part of what we call the 480B Elite package, where we will do custom leather seats with colors that the customer wants to choose. And I go back to when we were talking about price, you know, I kind of gave you a range. And these are some of the things that are variables that we can manage. Is how do you want your interior configured? Yep. What you're seeing here is a configuration for our more private individual owner-operator, where you can expand to 5 seats. And if you want to go and do a dual control system in training, this seat folds up, that seat moves over one track, and we can put the controls in. The entire changeover is literally about 5 minutes.
The versatility is just here for this helicopter.
Yes, it is. It really is a lot. It has very versatile.
Am I able to hop in the pilot seat?
Absolutely.
I've been waiting for this. First thing I actually noticed is awesome visibility, and just how the cockpit is set out is just so nice.
Recent upgrades and modifications we're working on with this helicopter, as you can see, is some of the interior choices that we make and customizations we can do. In addition to that, we're upgrading the instrument panel for glass. The glass engine indication as well as the glass avionics, giving you the technology experience that a lot of our customers want. One of the things you'll see different from some of our legacy helicopters is we actually reduced the height of the instrument panel by 2 inches. What that did is now it gives that pilot, if you can just imagine 2 inches up, how much view that cuts off. By lowering this instrument panel, we actually even expanded the visibility from our legacy aircraft. And yes, the windows, the glass, It gives you great visibility all around.
Yeah, and even just this joystick here, it is actually just a really comfortable joystick to put your hand around. Like, everything's just set out really well. Does it have a gun? It has a trigger.
It does not.
Oh, not yet.
Yeah. Questions have been asked, but no, that's not one of our market segments. The origin of the 480 was actually on a military training pursuit contract that we were pursuing back in the 1990s. Unfortunately, we lost that contract, but still is widely used around the world as a military training helicopter. Also, the second most prominent use for it is for owner-operators. People that are getting into entry-level turbine helicopters will use it for private flight, family flying, cross-country flying. We do have cases of it being used in other markets as well, including ag spraying and some search and rescue type, but very minimal there. Does a little bit of cargo as well.
How is this safety different to another helicopter? How does it work?
Having 3 blades versus 2 gives you a smoother ride, an easier ride. The other thing is the tail rotor system, if you notice in the back in the pictures, it's unrestricted.
Yep.
So the tail rotor authority is really strong, which really helps you in windy conditions, right? So the counter torque in managing that helicopter gets a lot easier with the more tail rotor authority you can have. We don't have restrictions when it comes to winds and takeoff like our competitors do. Another really nice feature, we have oleo struts.
Yep.
With the oleo struts, you get that little extra give as you're setting the helicopter down, which just gives you a smoother landing.
I know with most helicopters you need a overhaul eventually.
Yes.
And some helicopters it's every 10 years, or some helicopters a part can only live for a certain amount of time. So what about this overhaul?
That is an awesome question, because there's a couple of things with the Enstrom again that our competitor don't do. Our main rotor blades are on condition. Basically what we call life limited. The FAA puts a 95,000 hour on them, just because they have to put something down. As long as you maintain the rotor blades, it's the life of the helicopter. There is no life limit on the airframe. You don't have to bring it back to the factory for overhaul. You basically maintenance, we have about 8 products that go through an overhaul cycle. And of course, your gearboxes, they go through a lot of stress and use. There are parts that associated with overhauls, but it's very minimal.
95,000 hours on the props. That is just absolutely insane.
It is, yep. You just got to keep them maintained, right?
All right, Chuck, amazing aircraft you got here. This helicopter is crazy good. Where do people find you?
Find us on enstromhelicopter.com. If you're a pilot looking at it and you want to see the actual operations, you can even download our RFMS and get familiar with the helicopter. And we also have a contact section in that page, and those emails come directly to me.
Make sure you go check out these guys. Their helicopters are actually so amazing. All right, thank you so much, Chuck.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Appreciate it.